Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. On today's show we are joined with Fabrizio Romano. Fabrizio, thank you for being here with us again.
Thank you as always for the invitation.
Yes, it's great to have you on. So let's get started with the first thing I wanted to talk about, and that is Joao Neves. There was reports coming out that Joao Neves could be a huge target for Manchester United this summer. Obviously, we know the release clause, I think it's 102 million. I mean, is there much truth in that? Because I like him as a player, but I don't know if I can see Man United spending that much money on a single player this summer. What's the story there with Joao Neves?
And especially in that position, because I think the big investment will be made probably on a centre-back. So I don't think it's going to be easy. First of all, as you mentioned, there is a clause, and with Benfica, it's always tough to negotiate, especially because Joao is still very young. He's very talented, he's a very good player, but probably for Benfica it would be perfect to keep the player for one more season. It's not going to be easy, because we know how tough it is to negotiate with Portuguese clubs in general when they have a release clause included in the contract, like in this case with Joao Neves. And it's also important to say that from what I'm hearing, it's true that Manchester United have been scouting the player for a long time, because already in September, in October, people from Manchester United scouting department have been in Portugal to follow the player closely, to keep an eye on his progress. But at the moment, they have not started any concrete negotiation with Benfica, any concrete contact with people close to the player. So at the moment, they're just informed on player progress, on player conditions in terms of contract and clause, but it's not a concrete negotiation yet. And I think it's also because Man United are still waiting to decide on their summer plan, how much they want to spend, in which position, who is going to take care of the summer transfer window at Manchester United. So there are still few things to decide before jumping into concrete negotiations. But for sure, Joao, in terms of scouting, like other players appreciated by the scouting department, is one of the players they really like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you couldn't like him. He's such a good player, but it's obviously the price that's the issue there. And then another story that came out recently was that Branthwaite from Everton is Man United's top centre-back target. We've also been linked to the likes of Todibo and Bremer recently from Juventus. I mean, is Branthwaite a top target for United? Because obviously I know the price is probably going to be high there as well.
Yeah, he's in the similar situation of Joao. He's a player that Manchester United obviously know very well. He's one of the options they have for the centre-back, but I'm not 100% sure that he's going to be the top target. I'm sure that they have a list of players for that position, because they want to invest in the centre-back. Is something that already around September, October, they decided involving Erik ten Hag in the conversation. Now, obviously, there is a new co-ownership. There is going to be new people in charge of the summer transfer window, so it's going to be different. But the idea to invest on a centre-back is still there. The players they've been monitoring are many players. As you mentioned, Todibo is still an option. I would keep an eye also on Antonio Silva, who is appreciated by many clubs around Europe, also playing for Benfica. And Manchester United have been in attendance not just for Joao Neves, but also for Antonio Silva when they've been in Portugal to follow Benfica. So I think there are few candidates, not only one top target at this point. Branthwaite will be one of the names to follow for sure. But before saying top target for Man United, I think we have to wait at least 1 month to understand who is going to decide for the summer transfer window and how much they want to invest on these players.
With Bremer from Juventus, is that someone that we're looking at as well closely? Because I've seen him come up a few times now, but I don't think we spoke about him on the show before. But is he someone that we're looking at as well?
Yeah, he's one of the options that Manchester United are looking at, yes. But from what I'm hearing, he's probably one of the most complicated. Because Bremer extended his contract in December, end of December at Juventus. He's a crucial player for Juventus with an important salary. So it's not going to be easy. I think the only case for Juventus to sell Bremer if they receive a completely crazy proposal and if the player is going to force for his exit. And at the moment, we are not even close to that scenario. So I think it's going to be a difficult one. My personal opinion, Bremer is perfect centre-back for Premier League. He's fantastic. He's a beast, so would be perfect for Premier League football. He's doing fantastic in Italy since he was at Torino, then joining Juventus. He was really close to Inter also before, so it would be perfect for Premier League, but also for Juventus, he's a crucial player. So I think between the names we mentioned, he's probably the most complicated option.
Interesting stuff. Thank you for that, and it's good to get personal opinion as well, because obviously you're in Italy, you'll be watching the Italian league a lot. But I also want to ask you on Mason Greenwood, because you put something out on Greenwood before talking about how it's not a definite decision that he will go in the summer, but it is looking likely. Where are Manchester United at with Mason Greenwood right now? Is it likely that we are going to sell him? Could there be something in it thinking, you know, well, if we say we're going to sell him, we might not get the money that we want? What's the situation with Greenwood right now?
Yeah, what I said is basically that Man United will take their time before making the final decision, because this is going to involve the manager, new people in charge of the summer transfer window, Ineos. So it still takes some time before saying, okay, the player is up for sale. But what I'm hearing from my sources is there is a very concrete possibility for Mason Greenwood to be available in the summer transfer market, for Man United to consider a permanent transfer. So I think if Man United receive an important, good proposal for Mason Greenwood, they will be open to discuss and to let him go. This is the feeling I'm getting from my sources close to negotiations. There are already clubs exploring the conditions of the deal. So I think Greenwood could be one of the names for Man United to cash in the summer transfer window, also because then they have to, and they want to, reinvest on different positions, different players. So still waiting for a final decision, but my feeling, speaking to sources, is that there is a very good chance for Mason Greenwood to leave Man United on permanent transfer.
And with Jadon Sancho as well, another player that's looking likely to leave, is that the situation with him? Because we heard rumours earlier that Dortmund might even want to keep him for another loan or a swap deal, and Jadon Sancho doesn't want to come back to Manchester United. What is the current situation with Jadon?
Yeah, I think it's really similar, honestly. Still waiting for a final decision also there. But I still think that also because of financial fair play, let's wait for the Champions League spot, which is crucial for Man United. Obviously, it's not easy, but still open race. But in any case, the important point for Man United in the summer is to make some profit, some money with the players. That is absolutely crucial, because for financial fair play, it's not going to be an easy summer in terms of budget. So to sell players, it's really, really important. So I still believe that if they receive a permanent transfer proposal for Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund or any other club, they will be open. This is just a feeling, not a final decision, but just a feeling after some internal discussion taking place in the recent weeks. So I think for Sancho and Greenwood could be time to leave Manchester United on permanent transfer, but we already said that in January. The Man United were prepared to sell the player on permanent transfer. They didn't receive a permanent transfer proposal for Sancho, and they ended up accepting a loan. So we have to see also what other clubs, Dortmund or any other, want to do in terms of negotiations.
Yeah, and then in terms of a left-back, you said that Manchester United will be in for a left-back in the summer. What sort of profile would that be, and is there any names that you can tell us as well?
No names yet, but I can tell you that from what I'm hearing, is going to be a young left back. So they want to invest on a player for present, but also future. Obviously, Luke Shaw is an important player. Malacia was that kind of profile, but he's been really unlucky in terms of injuries. So they want a player who can be fit, who can be competitive, who can be part of the starting 11 and not just a backup for Luke Shaw. So I think they want to sign an important prospect in that position. So Man United will be on the left backs market. They are already sending their people from the scouting department to follow different players, including in the Premier League. So I would not be surprised if Man United will look at some player from the Premier League for that position, but they're also following different leagues, obviously, in terms of opportunities for a new left back. But I would add the left back in the list for Man United in the summer, to center defender, as we said, striker, because they need to replace Anthony Martial. Let's see in the midfield, but for sure also the left back is one of the priorities for Manchester United in the summer transfer window.
And then you talk about the priorities there, talking about centre-back, talking about striker, and the left-back, obviously. One that we keep hearing about is Michael Olise from Crystal Palace. I mean, is that a deal that could be potentially maybe one of Man United's first deals? Is it something that people may be getting carried away with? Because Michael Olise, we've heard that he's been approved by both parties, but I don't know if the majority of Man United fans would say right wing is a priority. So where are we at on Michael Olise? Does it look very likely as much as it is what the rumours are in the press?
I'm sure he's one of the players who is in the list of Manchester United. Then before saying, again, similar to Branthwaite, he's a top target and something is 100% going to happen, we have to wait for people to be in charge and to decide together with the manager, okay, he's a player we want to sign. But in the case of Olise, the positive news for Man United is that there is a release clause. So they are well informed on the terms of this release clause at Crystal Palace. They also know that other clubs are interested in Olise because, for example, Manchester City are following the player since long time. They already added him to their list last summer before signing Doku. So he was one of the names they had on the list. Chelsea wanted a player last summer. So the race is quite open. I would not say that he's close to joining Manchester United, but he's one of the players approved by the scouting department, still waiting for Man United to say, okay, let's proceed with the deal. But for sure, in terms of scouting, he's one of the players really appreciated, and I would say one of the big names in terms of potential priorities. But it's not something guaranteed yet, so I would not mention yet that Olise is 100% going to join Man United.
The rumour is as well that Olise, Man United is his preferred destination. Do you know anything about that?
Honestly, on this, I don't have any confirmation. I'm sure that the player would be really keen on joining Manchester United. That's 100% guaranteed. But I can't say that he's only Man United for him, because you know how it is in football. Sometimes maybe another club can join, offer a different contract or maybe different project, and the player could be tempted. But for sure, he's open to joining Manchester United. That's 100% confirmed, because he's tempted by that possibility. But it also depends on the club now. And the club have not started the concrete negotiation yet to sign Olise. So appreciation, yes, approved by the scouting department, but we are not yet at that stage of the negotiation.
And we talk about getting to that stage of the negotiation. For that, we'd probably need our new sporting director in. Is there any updates on what would potentially happen with Ashworth? Does it still look likely he won't be in for the summer? Do Ineos have any backup options to kind of, I'm not saying a backup sporting director, but you know, any names to bring in to help with the summer, like Dougie Freedman? We've heard Jason Wilcox. I mean, is there any plans there?
Both are still in the running, Friedman and Wilcox. Both are still options for Manchester United. It's now time for an internal discussion involving all the people at the club, not just Sir John Ratcliffe, but always people like Omar Berrada and all the others. So still having a conversation on who could be the right person to help with the work on Dan Ashworth. From what I'm hearing, the conversation between Man United and Newcastle for Dan Ashworth compensation is still ongoing. So I will still keep all the options open, because Man United and Ineos will try their best to make it happen as soon as possible for Dan Ashworth. So if it's not going to be summer, they want to make it happen January. But I will still keep a small percentage, but still a percentage for a potential summer switch for Ashworth. But for sure, what's crucial for Man United is the vision. Apart from for the summer transfer window, is to have the long-term vision. They believe that Dan Ashworth is the perfect man to start this project, not just for 1 or 2 years, but to do something on long term, to rebuild Manchester United in terms of many things. For example, they're very happy for how things have gone with Marcus Rashford after the last case he had 1 month ago, how Omar Berrada was already making an impact on how to handle this kind of things. So for them, it's crucial to change everything at the club, not just for a summer transfer window and then restarting with something different. So that's why they're not in a rush, but I'm sure they will try their best to have Ashworth as soon as possible.
So was Omar Berrada involved with the Rashford stuff then?
In terms of suggesting what to do, so not in a direct way in terms of working for Manchester United, but you know that when someone is giving just a suggestion, I'm hearing yes, just to bring a different vision, how to handle this kind of things for present and future of Manchester United when there is a problem with a player, an issue with a player or anyone else in the staff maybe, how to handle these kind of things. It has to change immediately. And I think Man United, since Ineos joined the club, you can really see the difference in terms of how they're handling the relationship with players or some issues they're having.
Well, that's good to hear. I also wanted to ask about Varane and Maguire, because we had some reports coming out before the show that Varane looks very likely to leave in the summer, and also Maguire's future isn't certain either. These two players, do you reckon they'll go in the summer?
Yeah, for Varane at the moment is still the same situation. No agreement between Man United and Varane over new deal. So obviously we are now in March. Let's see what happens in the next 2 months. But at the moment it's very quiet, and I think there is a concrete chance for Varane to leave in case they can't agree on longer contract, but with the difference on the salary, because Man United don't want to pay that crazy salary for 2 or 3 years. So that has to change, and I think it's not going to be easy. And then for Harry Maguire, I am told that he's still the same situation as last summer. If Man United receive an important proposal and the player is happy with that, they could be open to letting him go. Otherwise, they're happy to keep the player at the club. But I think also in this kind of situation, it's important to understand who is going to take care of the summer transfer window at United to decide about the price and to decide about the strategy. But in case they receive an important proposal, as it happened with West Ham last summer, I think Man United will still be open also because of financial fair play.
Thank you for that. And also, Onana from Everton, midfielder, I wanted to bring him up before, but I kind of moved on to other things. But with Onana from Everton, he's someone that I think we were scouting last summer. And I know you said you don't know how much of a priority the midfield is, but is he also somebody that Man United could be looking at?
Yeah, it's just about being informed on the situation. At the moment, it's nothing close or imminent. But on Onana, I will keep an eye also on other clubs, because we are having many rumors about him. And there is interest, for example, from long time from Arsenal, Barcelona. So many clubs are looking at him, not just Manchester United. I think it's going to be a big race in the summer for Onana. It's a big opportunity. Man United could be there, but at the moment they have not started any concrete talk or negotiation with players camp or Everton.
And then lastly, Erik ten Hag, there was an article put out sort of suggesting that if Ten Hag doesn't have the say on transfers that he initially asked for. He could potentially leave Man United off his own back. I mean, is there anything that you can tell us about Ten Hag's future and that potentially being something that could happen?
I think all the managers around the world at top clubs want to have a say on transfers, and that's absolutely normal. So I'm sure for Man United is the same, and for Ten Hag is the same. He wants to be involved in the conversation, but I think he also knows that for Ineos this is something absolutely normal. So it's more about discussing together in the next weeks and months about the future project, rather than having a say in the transfer market, because it's crucial for Ten Hag, as all the other managers, to have a say. So I'm sure he will have this point as a crucial factor, but at the same time, Ineos know about that. Ineos want to involve the manager in the discussions. Ineos don't want to do the market and then the manager wants different players. So that is going to be absolutely normal. I'm still hearing that the conversation between Ineos and Erik ten Hag is still a positive conversation, a good conversation, but it's about results. And that's why I think these 2 months will be really important for Erik ten Hag to prove once again that he's the right man for Manchester United. But it's not about transfers. I don't think the problem is going to be about transfers.
Okay, thank you very much, Fabrizio. That was a good update as per usual. And yeah, thank you for coming on the channel. Exciting summer ahead.
Thank you, and see you soon.
See you soon, bye.
Thank you, ciao, ciao, ciao.
Well, everybody, that was Fabrizio Romano talking all things Manchester United news and transfers. What do you make about that? The one gem that I think that we can get out of it is obviously Ineos' strategy. There's been a lot of talk about whether Ineos want to handle the recruitment by themselves and get a manager in that's just kind of going to work under their recruitment, whether they want to involve the manager, Erik ten Hag's future. And as Fabrizio said there, the good gem that I took out of that is Ineos want to work with the manager on recruitment. They want to work with the manager on the transfers. And if Erik ten Hag does end up leaving Manchester United, it won't be because of the transfer policy and the transfer strategy. And I think that's huge because so many people online are saying, you know, Erik ten Hag, he's not going to work with Ineos because of the transfer situation. He wants a lot of power. I think what Fabrizio was basically saying is that Ten Hag understands Ineos' plan, but Ineos also want to work with the manager as well, which is perfect because the last thing we wanted, and the last thing I wanted, is a board and a team doing all of the transfers and a manager not having any say in that. I just don't think it can work in at the top level of modern football. I don't think it can. You know, Pep has a great sporting director, but he has a say. The same with Klopp. Arteta has a big say on Arsenal's transfers, and I think it's really important when the managers kind of delivering their vision that they have a say, whether it be Erik ten Hag or whether it be another manager. What was interesting was he said as well, like Turpux has just said there, Omar Barada was involved with the Rashford thing. We didn't know that, and that's something I've not seen anywhere. So maybe a little bit of a United Stand exclusive. That Omar Barada, I think he is on gardening leave right now for Manchester City. So, like Fabrizio did say, he's not directly involved with Manchester United, but he probably just suggested on how to handle situations with players at the club. And I actually thought the Rashford situation was handled very well. It got shut down very quickly. You know, there was nothing really kind of said about it. Erik ten Hag said a little bit in a press conference. He obviously was out of the Newport game when he got questioned about it. Since then, Ten Hag kept it very hush-hush. And it was handled well. Rashford came back into the team. I think he scored. Was it in the Wolves game he scored when the first game back? Since then, people can talk about whether they've liked Rashford's performances or not, but the whole story completely went away and there wasn't much kickback anywhere. We didn't really hear much news. I think there was some rumours that Ten Hag and Rashford maybe weren't getting on well, but I think they were just rumours and that was that. I don't think Ten Hag would be picking Rashford consistently if that was the case. So I think Omar Barada, the fact he's already kind of making things happen when he's not even in the club yet and giving good ideas on how to change the way that we handle stuff, I think that's really important. It begs the question that if we had somebody like Omar Barada in when the Greenwood situation happened, when the Sancho situation happened, would they have been handled in the way that they were handled? Because, you know, the Greenwood thing was handled horribly by Richard Arnold, I'm going to be honest. It really was. And then the Sancho situation was too public. It really was too public. All of that stuff should be the majority of it should be kept internal. So Omar Barada already kind of having an influence, I think, is really, really important and something that was really nice to hear. MK Fox says, Erik ten Hag has a structure above him to prevent stupid signings now. Exactly, that's what we need. That's what we need as well. We need, I feel like I'm banging the same drum. I feel like I'm a record on repeat. We need somebody working above Ten Hag who knows the style that Ten Hag wants to play, knows the attributes that Ten Hag wants in certain players. Like, for example, you know, I want a centre-back with pace. I want a centre-back that's good on the ball. I want a centre-back that's really good with the both right and left foot. You know, attributes that you'd want. You can name endless. I want someone who's really good in the air. I want someone who's really physical. Just different attributes. Knows what Ten Hag wants, but also when Ten Hag says, no, but I want Anthony, they go, no, we're not spending that money. Let's go for this player. I think it's more suited. It needs to be a balance. It needs to be a harmony. We live in a world where it's either one extreme or the other. It's like people think it's either going to be Erik ten Hag has complete control of transfers, or Erik ten Hag doesn't be at Man United anymore because Ineos have complete control of transfers. It doesn't have to be an extreme. It needs to be a nice balance where we have our transfer team, Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, Dougie Freedman, whoever it may be, they're working on transfers, but also Erik ten Hag gets a veto and he gets a say and he gets to kind of guide them as well. It needs to be a balance. And I think it hasn't been a balance so far at Man United. I think it's been purely Ten Hag kind of leading the way. Obviously, there's been some club suggestions and the scouts are still working, but I do think all the recruitment we've done since Erik ten Hag has been primarily directed by Erik ten Hag, and that can't be the case. It needs to be a balance. And you can do a balance when you have people and you actually know what they're doing. When Ten Hag first came through the door, I know we didn't have people in charge that knew what they were doing behind the scenes. So it's called getting a balance together. It's just whether as well too, Ten Hag will even still be the manager in the summer, because like Romano says, it's a results-based business. And Romano has said, you know, Ineos are really keen on Ten Hag. They're still working with Ten Hag. You know, they're planning for the future. He's not mentioned us going for new managers on the show yet. But what he did mention today is it's a results-based business, and Ten Hag's got the next 2 months to kind of show what he can do. And to me, that reads Ten Hag's on trial for his job. It really does. I keep saying it would not surprise me one bit if we have a new manager at the face of this project going into the summer, whether I want one or not. And I still really do want to stick by Ten Hag, I really do. But I won't be surprised, because Ten Hag needs to show something in these next 2 months. You don't continue to manage at a top club if you're not getting results and the performances on the pitch are poor. You know, Everton game, performance was poor, but we got a result. It has to be at least one or the other. Ideally, in an ideal world, at a club like Manchester United, you want both. But from now till the end of the season, you know, the injury excuse can settle a few people, but you've got to be able to get results and show something in your performance. Liverpool's going to be absolutely huge on the weekend, because Liverpool rock City like I've not seen the team rock City in a long time. And I'd say City are the best team in the world right now. I hate to say it, but it's true. In terms of football and ability and what they can do on the pitch. And we've got to play them at Old Trafford in the FA Cup when our performances have been poor recently. So what's Ten Hag going to pull out of the bag there? Grace Sheridan says Ineos need to look at underperforming players too. Yeah, talking a little bit about outgoings there. It's a shame really, isn't it? Because Varane, who's been our most reliable centre-back this season, honestly hasn't missed many games, even though people do label him injury prone, and I've labelled him injury prone as well. He's going to end up leaving because I don't think Varane's going to want to compromise on a wage, and I don't think United want to pay him what he kind of thinks he deserves. So I think he's going to leave because it's the easy thing for United to get, you know, an ageing player off the books, and Varane's probably going to go. Like, that's Romano basically said it there. But Maguire, because he's on a contract, he's probably going to stay. And I'm not saying Maguire has to go. I'm not saying he does, but realistically, who's a better centre-back, Varane or Maguire? I think Varane is. But Maguire's going to end up staying because of his contract situation. There's talks about Maguire going, and like Romano said, if a good bid comes in for him, the club will probably want to do it. But what happens if the same thing that happened last year happens, where Maguire goes, I don't want to go, I want to stay and fight for my place? The club aren't going to force him out. No one's going to offer the wage that Maguire's on now. Maguire has every right to sit there and say, I want to stay, I want to see out my contract, and the club can't do anything about it. So, to me, I think Maguire will stay. You know, bids will probably go in for him, and he is an okay squad player, but if you could get some money for him, that'd be really beneficial to us. Talking about players coming in, I mean, it is disappointing that we don't get anything kind of set in stone, to be honest, but that's the way it is right now. We've not got our recruitment team in, and we've said it so many times. Our recruitment team is going to come in with Ten Hag and decide on priorities, going to decide on proper targets. We're doing some groundwork. Elise, Todibo, Branthwaite, Antonio Silva keeps getting brought up by Fabrizio. Interesting that Fabrizio said he thinks Bremer would be perfect for the Premier League, but he's really complicated. Really complicated, and United don't mix. That means it mostly won't happen. I don't see us going for Bremer, to be honest. But we don't have anyone that we're kind of advancing on, and that is a concrete target because we haven't planned properly for the summer yet. And it's as simple as that. And the reason we haven't done it is because we haven't got our sporting director in yet. We haven't got a recruitment team together yet. And we don't know even if Erik ten Hag is going to be the manager yet. And I don't think Ineos know that either. So it is slightly worrying to me that we're going into this summer at the moment with not really much plans, because this is now when we should be planning for the summer. We don't know what our priority position is going to be. All I know going into the summer is that we're definitely going to go for a centre-back, a left-back and a striker. I don't know any names of where we're going. We know people we're scouting. We're scouting Branthwaite. We're scouting Todibo. We're scouting Bremer. We're scouting Onana. We're scouting Joao Neves even. But we don't know anything concrete because we don't know who the manager's going to be, and we don't have a recruitment team in yet. There's been no decisions made, really. So we're kind of in a little bit of a limbo stage at the minute. I've seen somebody say, how long is Barada's gardening leave? I mean, I don't know if he should be. I don't know if what it works with helping out with the Rashford situation while I was on gardening leave, but let's keep that one quiet. Nick Cantor says, has anybody ever told you you're right? I mean, I wish more people would, Nick, because I'm getting absolutely hammered at the minute on Twitter and stuff like that. So thank you for your super chat. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment, kind of, by the way. Greenwood's going to go. Absolutely, Greenwood's going to go. I said it on the morning show if you tuned in to that. If you don't, please give it a watch after this show because, we really appreciate it. And I thought there was actually some really good points made on this morning show with the community. Greenwood's absolutely going to go. I explained why on the morning show, but Fabrizio just kind of solidified it there. And with Jadon Sancho, he's probably going to go as well. We're going to take a huge loss on Sancho. It could even be another loan, which is just not what we want. But that's the situation there. But yeah, I see the likes of Varane and Casemiro sort of departing in the summer purely due to age and wage, which is disappointing because I don't think they'd be the first people that I'd be showing out the door in our current squad. And I don't think it makes us. I think it makes our squad weaker with them players going. To be honest with you, they're not perfect, but it makes it weaker. We need to replace them very well. And in terms of what we're looking for, I think people keep going on about Branthwaite. I think Branthwaite's a really, really tough ask. A really tough ask. He's going to be around 70, 80 million. When I say that, people laugh at me. But look at what John Stones went for, and that was in 2016. He went for near enough 50 mil. People will laugh, but Van Dijk, I mean, what he went for. I mean, Harry Maguire went for 80 mil, for God's sakes. Branthwaite is 21 years old. He's got a really high ceiling. Can United afford to spend that on one player? I love the player, but can we? Joao Neves, 102, just don't see it happening for that price. It's all about our priority positions and where we're going to spend the big bulk of our money, because there's 5 positions we need to get, and that's just scratching the surface. And then 5 positions, whether you think they're our priority positions or not, from the rumours that are coming out, it seems like it's centre-back, striker, left-back, right wing. What was the other one? And midfielder. Whether they are priority positions or not, that's what it looks like we're going for. But then we keep getting told, certain players are probably going to end up staying. It doesn't look like too many are moving on. Where's the money coming from? That's what I think. And as Romano said there, Champions League football is crucial. And I don't think we're going to get it. But I want to end on a positive note. And the positive note is I am actually still really excited about Ineos. And what I liked what Romano said there is that Ineos are doing everything they can to try and get Dan Ashworth out of Newcastle now and in for the summer. And it won't be surprising if they manage to do it. The compensation fee, the negotiation's still open. And when the race is still on, you still have a chance to win. So let's see, guys. But thank you, everyone, for watching the show and getting involved. Please hit a like on the video on your way out. We really do appreciate it. And obviously, hit a like for Fabrizio making his time to speak to us here on the United Stand. It's just going to be a huge, huge, huge summer ahead of us. A huge summer ahead of us. Let's see what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of cogs turning between now until the end of the season, especially with Ineos and recruitments and kind of solidifying our targets for the summer. But let me know all your thoughts in the comments, everyone. Hit a like on the video on your way out, and we will see you on the next one.